Halos. All right, let's see here. Genesis chapter 24. Look it, I have an island. Yes, coming right along. All right. My internet reception is not that great out here. Waiting for my Starlink to come in. Pretty excited about that. All right. What did we get to? I think we got to 41 yesterday. So, hey, Susan, Irma, Dad, and everyone else who's starting to hop on there. And this day I came to the well and said, O Lord God of my master Abraham, if you will now prosper the way in which I go, behold, I stand by the well of water, and it shall come to pass that when a virgin comes to draw the water, I say to her, please give me a little water from your pitcher to drink. This is kind of recapping of what we already saw. And she says to me, drink, and I will also draw for your camels. Also, let her be a woman whom the Lord has appointed for my master's son. But before I had finished speaking in my heart, there was Rebekah coming out with her pitcher on her shoulder, and she went down to the well and drew water. And I said to her, please let me drink. And she made haste and let her pitcher down from her shoulder and said, drink, and I will give your camels also drink. So I drank. She gave the camels drink also. It's so beautiful. You and your camels. Continuing on, because it's kind of recap for us. Then I asked her, whose daughter are you? And she said, the daughter of Bethuel, of all these people. And so I put the nose ring on her and the bracelets on her, and I bowed my head and worshipped Yahweh. Verse 48. And I blessed Yahweh God of my master Abraham, who led me in the way of truth, to take the daughter of my master's brother for his son. Now if you will deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. So, recapping all that we kind of saw, he's telling the story. One thing that maybe I could dwell on longer, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to kind of just mention it. Before verse 45, before I had finished speaking in my heart, it's a good reminder that God hears the prayers of your heart. Now, I'd like to encourage some of you. Oh, who's all watching? Arla, Irma, Susan, people from my church who I often see at Sunday night church. God hears the prayers of your heart. Though, it's good to get them out for everyone else to hear, because I can't pray with you, but God hears you. So there's a balance there. Strike it down the middle. God hears your hearts. He hears your hearts when you sing every song. He hears when we sing words that are empty of heart. And he hears when we don't have the strength to sing, but our hearts are crying out a loud song. On the flip side, your brothers and your sisters cannot hear your heart. And the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. And the first half of that verse tells us that we are to confess our trespasses to one another, that we may pray for one another, that you may be healed. And I don't know, sometimes I wonder if in heaven God looks down and says, I hear you, my child. I hear your prayers, and I would love to do something about them. And what I really want to hear right now is your brothers and sisters praying with you the prayers of your heart, that my children would come to me in unison, all in agreement. Do your kids fight over Netflix? Mine will sometimes. Jubilee likes to watch Barbie. Judah does too, but he'd never admit it publicly. Jubilee likes girly shows. Judah likes Ninjago or something more manly. Benny likes to watch anything as long as it's on the television. Now, it's one thing when all my kids fight over the TV. It's another thing if we tell them, you get to watch a show tonight. Tonight's the night. What do you guys want to watch? It's another thing when even respectfully and with the most sincerity and kindness and good behavior, they disagree still. Well, I know I want to watch this, but Jubilee wants to watch that. It makes it very difficult. And yet, when all the kids come together Or even when Judah comes and says, you know what? Let's watch Barbie. I got to watch my show last time. Let's let Jubilee have her show. Wow. That makes my job so very easy, because I'm not only getting to provide for my daughter, whom I love, but I get to honor the prayers of my son, who's lifting her up. And that's great too. You see, in America, weakness is frowned upon. Vulnerability is attacked. And yet, one of the most vulnerable acts of praying our needs in front of other people, it brings power. And there is a power in corporate prayer. God can answer one person as easily as 1,000. The question is will he? And God has a way about him. And I believe God does honor when his children come together. We don't have to even get out of our seats to lay hands. And yet there's something about that too, right? Because we could back up in James 5 a little bit more from what we were just quoting. And it's, if anyone's sick among you, right? Tell the elders. They're going to lay hands. So there's all these awkward acts, things that we're just not used to doing because most churches, don't take the time to lay hands on people and pray for them, don't have opportunities for people to pray out. Now, I will say this, Sunday morning, I think it just get too hectic. There's a lot of people, a lot of stuff going on, and maybe other than a unique situation, it's why Sunday mornings, are more orderly. In fact, that's actually what I think Paul talks about in 1 Corinthians 14 when he's talking about the gifts of tongues and prophecies and church order. He mentions that when you all gather in one place, and there's that key line in there towards the beginning of the chapter, upper part, when you all gather together, it could get disorderly if everyone has a psalm and a sharing and a tongue, right? We should know the scriptures, 1 Corinthians 14. Everyone comes bringing something, and when you all gather together, that can get crazy. But I actually think there's a little sneaky hidden teaching, not hidden, implied teaching in there, which is when it's not everybody, when it's the believers meeting, when it's a smaller group of people who understand what's going on, there's an opportunity for people to share a prayer, to share a psalm, to share a tongue. And that's the idea, is that there's an opportunity for us to exercise prayer, exercise the gifts, and do this stuff that we're called to do. And if our night service ever got too big for that, well, we'll start another service, a third service, even smaller. And there's home fellowships, and there's other places, we can have that believers meeting experience and time where it is a smaller group of people who can really minister in a more individual way. So all this said, God hears your heart. Absolutely. So never forget that. Remember that he hears your cries, even if they never are uttered as words. But also remember that there is power in making your prayers heard, sharing them so that we can bear each other's burdens. You don't only get prayer on Sunday night. You get prayer as faithful, active, obedient believers. Continue praying for those people. We remember the prayers from last week and the week before, and I can keep praying for that person. That's something you should consider doing too. This is my last plug. Remember, all what we just talked about, you don't get to watch on a live stream. You got to come. So, God bless you guys. Have an amazing Friday. Pizza at my house tonight. My pizza. I'll see you guys around. I don't have a coffee. I left my coffee at home. Oh, someone bring me coffee.